The referee is Brendan Moore. My co-commentator is the 1986 world champion, Joe Johnson. Xiao breaks off. And he must start getting into the city limits of Fightbacksville.
Fightbacksville. Not Shredsville. Fightbacksville. Yes, he's got to play like he did against his earlier opponent in the first round, Ryan Day. And he did play well in that match, Xiao Guodong. But the #1 in the world, he's playing like #1 in the world. Well, wasn't near that pot. Left an early chance for Xiao.
And I commentated on the entire first session last night. And I can tell you that in many frames, Xiao had the first opportunity. Had some really good ones, actually, and ended up wasting them.
That's a secret, isn't it, Phil? You've got to take your opportunities as they come, because they're going to be far and few between as this match progresses. When Selby settles, he's going to score heavy. So, first chance goes to Xiao Guodong. And quite a few reds that he can play for. Doesn't need to go into that cluster just yet. Just needs to feel his way into the game. Nicely coming round the two cushions.
6.
A nice angle on this red to play for the black or pink.
Seven.
Without being reckless, I think he's got to attack the balls this afternoon, Xiao Guodong. Pink spot held. So the pink going as close to its spot as it can behind the reds.
Thank you. 30.
Underhit it.
40.
But underhit it by a good distance, really. It's easy enough to come in and out of baulk from there. Black doesn't go to this left corner
19.
as yet. So back up for the blue again. Maybe this time try and get the right side of it.
20.
Now, if he could play down for the red next to the black, that would then free the black. He could go into them, but maybe clear that black area first. Well, I'm surprised he didn't come down for the red next to the black.
25.
Don't think he can get to the black from there. Well, maybe you can. No. Opening the reds. And going up towards one of the boat colours.
26.
But now he's got reds available to the left corner pocket, which does lead to the black. Although not as imperative now because the pink goes.
It was a different set of circumstances in the first round against Ryan Day. Then
28.
Xiao, after the first session, led 6-3. But when they started the second, he was superb. Smoothly moved to 9-3, making breaks, potting well. And something similar is badly required here.
29.
Well, he certainly started off pretty good.
36. $37.
Still got a couple of reds he can play for. And may use the pink to go into the cluster. He could leave a nice angle on the pink here
44.
to open the reds up. Just having a look at that now. But with that loose red going out in the open, you could skim off the reds in potting a pink and still be on that red. Let's just see how he plays this. Well, he's played for the black,
45.
but the pink looked good. So, similar type of shot, can leave the pink to go into the reds. Could screw it for the blue. Well, what it mustn't do, really, is play for the black.
$53.
Well, that came so close to missing. Well, they've opened beautifully. And what a great chance this is now for Xiao Guodong to take this opening frame and pull one back. It will go a little closer to the red.
$59. $60.
This is Xiao's third match at the Crucible. He lost in the first round in 2014 to Ali Carter. 2 matches in this year's championship for him. Still chasing his first century here. But what an opportunity to get it.
Yeah, and
67.
I fancy him for it. He had a go at the long red, Mark Selby. Missed it by a distance. And this is what Xiao Guodong has got to do. He's got to punish And that was frame ball. Still a long way back for Xiao Guodong, but it's got to start somewhere. And it's going to be 6-3 now.
74.
Yes, and it has to be said, even though Selby will be happy with 6-2 overnight, he wasn't at his best in the first session. He was more efficient than eye-catching. And if Xiao can play close to his best, it could yet be match on.
81.
Make no mistake, Phil, this young man is one of the future breed. Great player, great temperament. It's whether he's going to get enough chances. Could have played for the pink there, which would have released the other red. He may have got a big bounce off that side cushion. Good pot. A little hard, but may still be able to cut this red to the middle. It's a tough one, but frames one.
Still waiting for his first century here, but that was just the start that for him was imperative. To say the least, minimal. Took on a red from distance, missed it by some way. Hit it much too thick. And in one scoring visit, Xiao moves within 3 frames.
Match time just over 3 hours and 9 frames. Well, won't be making many century breaks from there. Snookered on all the reds. Touch and ball called.
Talking of centuries, Joe, Stephen Maguire's just made one on the other table. Off to a flyer in his second session against Rory McLeod. Maguire's lead is now 7-2. Xiao played his first professional match 10 years ago. Selby's been a pro for 18 years now, so hard to believe that this is the first time they've ever met in a world ranking event. They've had 2 previous meetings in low-key PTC tournaments. Selby won 4-2 and 4-3 respectively. So as Neil Folds pointed out last night, Joe, at least Xiao's not got an awful lot of scar tissue, having been heavily beaten by Selby in the past.
Yeah, and it could be a tough frame, this. Arlo. The first fluke of this afternoon. And he's on the yellow. Well, he's straight in again.
Three.
You like that one. He holds his hands up. I'm sure that makes Mark Selby feel a lot better. Now, he could go into the pack of reds from the green, because although there is a red close to the pocket, the other reds are all covering one another, stopping each one going. So he might go into them. And he's okay. He's on a red. And has brought another couple of reds into play.
7.
It's going to have to go back down for one of the baulk colours here.
8.
And again, he could decide to go into them again. Or he could play for that red to the right corner. The one to the right of the pink spot. The only problem is that the pink and blue are in difficult positions. The black's not easy. So it might be worthwhile going into them. And didn't quite catch them full enough. So unless this red is on to the middle,
on the other side of the arena, someone receives a text, and you can hear it here. So annoying.
well, the red just about goes, and he can play for the black here. If it goes in, yeah, good shot. Oh, has he overscrewed it?
12.
He's just overscrewed it. Just a little bit too much adrenaline.
Blue ball. Xiao Guodong.
Caught the blue too thick. Well, you'd expect Mark Selby to be winning the safety. But that's a good safety shot from Xiao Guodong. Not easy to get the cue ball back down the table from there. Could come off the side cushion and try and land up to the red that's closest to the black cushion. That's what he's faced with, and very difficult to get the cue ball back. Yeah, so coming off the side cushion, just trying to land up to this red. He's the wrong side of it, but it's okay. Well, if it was tough from there before, it's going to be tough again. Although this time he could play the red closest to the right corner. Try and catch it thin. Well, that's a great pot. And had he got the cannon a little bit fuller to the red, it would have been nicely on the black. Look at this again. He's unlucky here. A fuller contact would have left him with a great frame-winning chance. As it is, it's a tough black to take on. Could be a frame loser if he misses it.
Had he started last night in similar vein to this, the scoreline would be a lot closer, let me tell you.
Yeah, good shot. And it's just slid back. Now, does that red go in the middle?
8.
Well, judging by the body language, it doesn't go. And it was so close to getting the cannon, that would have left him on 2 reds. No, doesn't go. Possible plant there, but a lot more difficult. Plenty of room between the balls. So, got to get the cue ball close to the cushion, the ball cushion. Take the plant on, but get that cue ball down the table.
Xiao Guodong, 8.
Good safety. Something to think about. Xiao Guodong, no easy path back to balk. Not sure if he can come off the left side cushion and land up to the 2 reds that are on the black cushion. The patience of Job, that man. Now he took the risk on hitting that red or the other one. So Mark Selby with his first scoring chance, his first real one. He had one shot at a long red in the first frame, but missed that one. This is easy enough to get started.
One.
He was responsible for 5 half-centuries in the first session last night. Best of them, 76. So reasonable scoring, but not full bore, not by his standards.
Choice of 2 reds, both of them lead to the black. I'm not afraid of playing with the rest. See, to me, this is a much more difficult shot than the other one without the rest. But not afraid to use the rest. He's probably the best player in the world with it.
5.
Yeah, that's where he wants to finish, somewhere around about there. 2 straight on the black to play a cannon, stay on these 5 reds round the black. So deep screw. Can either play for the black or pink. Yeah.
12. $30.
Xiao Guodong won't be too concerned just yet. A fuller ball kiss would have been more beneficial there. Could have
90.
stayed on the red, back to the black again. He may have to go down for one of the port colours now.
$20.
And if he's straight, that's okay. Straight back for this red above the black. He's going to need one of these 2 reds on the cushion.
3. 24.
That's the thing with Selby. Whatever the circumstance, whatever the way the match is going,
31.
whether he's in front level, whether he's trailing, always
32.
level-headed. Just a fantastic, unflappable temperament.
Yes, he's
39.
under-hit that one, though. But I completely agree. Thoroughly deserves his #1 spot
40.
and world champion status. Oh, I detected a kick there. But the pink just slid in off the angle.
46.
It was a really good shot because he played it with bundles of check side, which increased the difficulty.
Needs an angle on the black to be able
47.
to disturb the reds. And that looks okay. That's where he would have liked to have been, the other side of the black. Well, this is a big shot. This could either win him the frame or lose him the frame.
They're going off the far jaw a little easier than off the near jaw, this kind of pot. Well done.
55.
Preferably straight in. Yep, a little unfortunate, but 2 snookers required.
62. Thank you. Mark Selby, 62.
Another frame has bitten the dust on the other table, and it's fallen to Maguire again. Maguire leads McLeod 8-2.
Balls are placed nice for snookers. Black's in a good spot, and so are those 4 colours down by the baulk end. Not taking any chances, Mark Selby. Playing good safety, getting snookers himself. And a chance to put this frame to bed now. Oh, got a big kick. And Guodong might be forced to pot this red. Need to come down for the black. Pink would be enough to leave himself needing 2 snookers. In fact, if he took the pink, he'd need 2 snookers to tie. So he could do with the black.
1.
That's a good shot to get him behind the yellow. That gives him a good chance of laying a good snooker tight in behind the blue here. Got to avoid that middle pocket with the yellow, but should be able to stun him behind the blue. And that's a pretty good snooker.
8.
And right now, Selby is thankful that Xiao needs 2 snookers, not just a single one.
By going in and out of baulk, he gives himself 2 chances of hitting this yellow. He could hit it direct or come off the cushion and hit it. Doesn't want to miss it on the right. He's going to miss it on the left, and then he's got a chance of hitting it. Well played.
Thank you.
Well, that's another one. One cushion escape. Mustn't leave a free ball if he misses it. This is close again. Might just have come out. It's a fraction too hard. And may have won himself here. What about that for a shot?
Yes, when your opponent needs a couple of snookers, there's no law against laying one yourself.
Frame conceded, frame.
Yellow over pocket. Xiao concedes. Typical Selby frame that. Won the safety duel, made 62. And Xiao, and that will be no problem whatsoever for the defending world champion. And the reason for that, he built a 6-2 lead last night. So it's 7-3 now. Still very comfortable for him.
Thank you, frame 11. Xiao Guodong to break.
And of course, when you get to 7 in these second round matches, that means you're a little more than halfway there. The race to 13.
Yes, not a good break off, this red. To the right corner for Selby. Normally so good at that type of shot. And because he missed it thin, the cue ball has finished up in baulk.
I know last night, Joe, you were commentating on that classic final session between John Higgins and Mark Allen. I can tell you that that right-hand top pocket caused Selby no end of grief last night. He missed double figure a number of pots into that particular target.
Oh, well. What an attacking safety that was, but this green has got to go in. Played the cue ball to the baulk cushion, screwing off the red. Now, a little fortunate that he didn't get it there.
Interesting, the shot that Xiao played, the red into the bunch to open them up.
4.
We saw a shot very similar to that this morning in the Robertson-Fu match. Robertson got a good cue ball, but a red went over
5.
the pocket, didn't fluke in, went over the pocket. Fu made a century, and that was the launch of his fight back.
Yeah, that was the start of the turnaround, wasn't it? And it could have gone the other way for Xiao Guodong there, had the red stayed out.
12. $13.
He's underhit it, but can take this red to the right corner now.
20.
Always good to have left that red there, just in case that happened, where it was a little short.
21.
Yeah, could give him a little nudge, the red directly above the black. You could just hit into that one. That develops another couple of reds.
28. $29.
Pink is available to the right middle, which leads him to an easier red. It should be okay to screw back for the red into the same pocket.
$36. $37.
The red at the back of the pack will go to the left corner, so it doesn't need to go into them.
$42. $43.
And now all the reds are covering one another. But has got an angle on the black, just a slight one, to stand up and play for the cannon. Should leave a red into the right corner. Yeah, that's perfectly played. That's developed everything. He's not giving up without a fight, Xiao Guodong. And this is good stuff.
51.
It is. I mean, let's make no bones about it. He was very fortunate to get in. But when you have luck in this game, that's half the battle. The other half, the skillful half, is to make the most of it, and that's what he's doing here.
Yes, on another day, that red, like Robertson's today, could have stayed over the pocket, but there it is, it goes in. And as you say, Phil, you've got to make the most of it. And at the moment, he is doing. But what he doesn't want to do now is miss and leave all those reds on. Got to keep it going now. Well, that was a poor positional shot.
58.
Well, no, the red goes. I apologise.
59.
Overscrewed that one slightly. If he could play the cannon to the red by the pink, the red nearest the pink, if he could play the cannon to that, that would leave him on choice of reds.
$66.
Did well to avoid the baulk colours there. And should be safe now. Just the blue needed.
That's 2 frames tucked away this afternoon already for Xiao, both in a single scoring visit.
72.
Yeah, you can't ask any more of yourself than that, can you? To win the frame at one visit. Okay,
70.
the first shot, the fluke. Nothing fluky about the rest. Could have made a century in the opening frame. Made
78.
89. Every chance of getting one here.
$79.
It seemed to both Neil Foulds and myself last night that
86.
at the start of the match, as we see the reaction to the fluke that started this,
87.
at the start of the match last night, Xiao seemed a little overawed by the occasion, by the importance of the match, and certainly by the reputation of the guy in the other chair. Today, though, he's come out to play snooker. Doesn't seem so inhibited.
Yeah, and he is
93.
playing snooker at its highest level.
94.
He made 3 century breaks in qualifying.
Slow down. Slow down. Yes, you can just get it.
99. 400.
He can say, Joe, as you can, I've made a century at the Crucible. What a nice feeling that is.
$106.
He doesn't hang about, does he?
$109. $113.
Well, that's twice that Mark Selby's had to sit out.
118. $124.
This is the 45th century of this year's championship.
131 on the frame.
And in fact, it's a total clearance. Xiao had the fluke, then brilliance. 3 frames, 3 substantial breaks.
Frame 12.
And surprisingly,
Selby
it's
to
Mark Selby who's contributed only 1 of those. And that's why, after leading 6-2 overnight, his advantage has been reduced to 7-4. And if Xiao can win this one, suddenly there's just the merest hint on the breeze of a shock. In so many respects, it was this round last year in which Selby was made to fight hardest. He was held to 11-11 by a qualifier from Devon, Sam Baird, before prevailing 13-11.
Didn't qualify this time, Sam Baird. But a great player to have took Selby to 11 each. Oh, caught that much too thin. And I think this red may be on to the right corner. If it isn't, he's a fortunate man. And it isn't. It looks like it from the overhead camera, but just as you saw from the side camera, can't see enough of the red. So just the safety. Maybe a re-rack.
Well, we had a re-rack last night, Joe. One of the swiftest I think I've ever seen. It was around 3 or 4 shots, and all of a sudden they were saying, yep, put the balls back up, we're not going anywhere.
Well, unless they leave a touching ball, this isn't going anywhere. Is it touching? Well, nobody's suggested a re-rack yet, so...
Brendan Moore's in no hurry. He's commuting. Lives in Sheffield. Saves the game's governing body a hefty hotel bill. And he's very good at his job. It's a double whammy.
It could be a touching ball.
As suspected, Brendan Moore suggests to the 2 players that we might as well re-rack, and that's what's going to happen. Which is good, actually, because I can tell you now about what's happened on the other table. Stephen Maguire had a chance in frame 11 to forge even further ahead. Didn't take it, though. In the end, Rory McLeod won the frame, I believe, on the early colours. And as a consequence, Maguire now leads 8-3.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Mark Selby didn't have a look there to see if it was a touching ball, because had it been a touching ball, it was easy enough to play down the table.
Thank you, frame 12. Mark Selby to break.
Take two. Shorter pace again. And this time leaves a half chance for Xiao Guodong. Oh, that was close. And he was on the black nicely. May have left the red to the baulk corner. Well, he's missing the odd one or two. Where's it going to finish? Hitting the green, saved him. Well, that was a good safety shot from Xiao there. Swerving round the brown to hit the right side of the red. Cue ball needs to run on, otherwise he leaves the red on. I think he can get to this red. And maybe he can screw into the pack. The black over the pocket, the pink there. It'd be worthwhile going into the pack of reds. It'd be unfortunate not to be on one of them. Well, didn't really go into them with a lot of pace. Can pot the pink, it's awkward, but he can pot it. Good pot. Good kiss.
Seven.
His problem here, if he plays for the black from this red to the middle, the black would go on the green spot, which wouldn't be a disaster because the red by the middle pocket could lead him to the black again.
Eight.
Yeah, he could take this red away from the black spot, play up for the black from that. Easy enough to get to the red by the middle. The black comes back onto its spot and he's in business. Yep, you can get to the black from there. And so long as the black goes past the green, I think it does.
15.
Gets the black back down onto its own spot again after taking this red. Yep, confirmation. Well, that's
60.
a good plan he worked out there. Easy enough for me to work it out from here with no pressure. But for him to work it out down there is pretty good.
And those who maintain this would be a Sunday stroll for Selby are being given food for thought. Xiao, a different player today than he was last night.
24.
He could have been inspired by watching all the great snooker we've seen on TV. I mean, Mark Allen and John Higgins yesterday played absolutely superb, inspired snooker. I mean, you only have to watch that to get inspired yourself. And it looks like he's playing good snooker.
29.
Nothing that Selby can do about it at the moment. But he does know he's in a match, that's for sure. Because this young man is playing with renewed confidence. And his demeanour around the table is just telling me he's growing in confidence, even though he's still 3 frames behind.
And what we're seeing in this mini session is exactly what we saw when Xiao played Ryan Day. His rhythm is the thing for me.
37.
Not ponderous in any way, but not too hasty either. Got it just right. I think he's got the attack defence balance right as well.
Yeah, quite agree. He's got a great speed around the table. It's like he is in the zone.
$45.
One more loose red. And then he's got to nudge something. And might be able to nudge something here.
53.
Doesn't need to. Could leave a nice angle on the black to go into them. But these are the choices he's got. He could stun this red in and try and open the reds. He could screw it in and try and open the reds. This is the safety shot. Left the red closest to the left corner and just didn't hit it hard enough. The table, I think, is running a little slower than we're used to. Now, what's it going to be? Looks like he's screwing it. And that is not where he wants
64.
to be. He might have to take the pink to keep the break going. He's not safe yet. His options are, he can drop the black in, play the safety, drop the pink in. So we'll look at this shot again. He'd be on a red if he dropped the pink in, but it's a tough shot. He could put a colour safe, full in the face on the brown. Puts the brown safe and a good safety. I think it's better than the 7 points. Well, he hasn't got the 7 points.
Xiao Guodong.
But all he was going to do is play safe. What would you rather have, 7 points more or a bit of insurance? I don't think that was the correct decision. Much rather have had the brown safe. Well, it may not make a difference in putting a ball safe, but it may do during this championship. Well, that's certainly opened things up. And Selby can get to this red, and there's nothing safe.
The biggest shot that the defending champion has faced in the match thus far. As Joe said, this goes in, everything's there.
Yes, and I go back to the point that I made earlier now. He should have put the brown safe. There's no question about it, but he was after the 7 points. Now, if the 7 points meant that Mark Selby needed a snooker, I could understand it.
Or indeed, if it meant he needed all blacks off the remaining reds, stuff like that. But
yeah,
there was no real value in it.
No, just 7 points.
7.
Mind you, Selby a little out of touch with that positional shot. Shouldn't be an issue, though.
Eight.
Well, everything goes to that right corner pocket. He's got the perfect angle on the yellow to come down the left side of the table. Pink goes to the right middle.
11.
Now, men want to take that red away from the black spot, so when he pots the black, it's clear. Won't want to pot that black and tie the red up.
70.
And now he can get to the red by the black spot. Doesn't have to, he could play for the red next to the pink.
So many times, countless times,
24.
during his wonderful career, Selby's won frames like this to turn the momentum back in his favour.
25.
He's a past master at doing so. He inflicts psychological harm by doing this on a regular basis. Hurts his opponents.
Yes, it could have been so much more difficult though with the brown safe.
Played that with lots of running side. Flick over
32.
for the red to right middle. So far, so good.
$33.
Now, there's going to be some noise here because they've arrived at the interval on the other table. Maguire leading 9-3. Selby has to forget about the hubbub. Easier said than done, though, and now this has left a really horrible cut back into a blind pocket. And this is the pocket, as I told you before, Joe, that caused him so much trouble last night. And in fact, he missed a couple of shots almost identical to this by overcutting them.
Not this time, though. It's in, and the perfect angle on the black to go down for the yellow.
$48.
Selby's break goes to 50. His deficit is only 4 points now, and so he needs to clear to pink.
What a big frame this is. And Xiao Guodong, he went into the back of reds, and he was a little unfortunate to finish under the cushion
53.
when he was on the black or pink. But made a bad decision, I felt.
He's tense though, Selby. The yellow and the green went into the corner of the pocket. He's wiping chalk off the table. Telltale signs of nerves. But he's able
62.
to overcome the butterflies. That's why he, at the moment in snooker, is the man. Selby's lead, 8-4.
Xiao Guodong to break.
Here we go then. 4 more frames in this session. 4 more frames for these two today. Because Joe Johnson, they resume and play to a finish tomorrow afternoon, and we know that will be the case because even if Selby wins all 4 frames, he can't do quite enough to win with a session to spare.
Yes, I don't think Xiao Guodong deserves to go out with a session to spare, especially with the way he's played today. Although when he looks back at that big decision that he made in the last frame, where he attempted to pot the black instead of putting a colour safe, it certainly cost him it.
They've also restarted on the other table. Just a reminder, Stephen Maguire 9-3 up on Rory McLeod, and there is a faint possibility there that Maguire could finish with a session to spare if he wins the next 4 frames. That's that. Maguire, though, is a fine player, yes, but McLeod is a stubborn sort, and I'd be surprised if they didn't have to come back tomorrow. Now, there's an interesting statistic, Joe. Xiao, 8-4 down, and yet he scored more points.
Yeah, potted more balls as well. But the only thing that counts is the frame difference. 4 frames down. Match time just approaching 4 hours. Not slow by any means. Oh, this is a good safety from Selby. Look at that for a shot. Snookered on all the reds. Yeah, good pace. But stay there, because should go back behind the yellow here. Dead on the cushion. The red to the left corner, a little bit too risky to play. There's no path back to balk. Another good safety, not quite a snooker, but cut off down the right side of the table. So I've got to catch this red ultra thin, otherwise the cue ball will hit the jaws. Not thin enough. And this time he might just take a red onto the left corner. If he can see a path out. Yes, he found the gap very nicely. and had to be so accurate with that shot. Wasn't a lot of room there. Look at this. Found the gap between those two reds. At the same time, found the potting angle on the red. That was a super shot. Now, if you can get to the red just below the black spot, that would be an ideal red to play for. Little shorter pace.
5.
But still on the red to the right corner.
Six.
This is the red that he got in with, and look at the gap that he found there. It's worth another look at that.
Yes, the clearance in the previous frame. We suspected it might re-energise Selby, and it looks that way.
Well, he may have potted the red badly, and that's why he caught the reds too thick with the screw back. So just a safety now.
Blue ball. Well, Selby 30.
Well, big target, the blue, green and brown. And he can get there from this shot. Coming round the 4 cushions. Not quite thick enough. So, big shot this for Xiao Guodong. Cue ball's going into the reds. He's got to put everything into this shot. Well, managed to find the gap, and he did well to find the gap.
Keep the noise down, please, thank you.
Yes, and the kiss on the brown also to his favour. Quickly, let me tell you, Stephen Maguire has just cleared up with 90 behind the dividing wall. He leads Rory McLeod 10-3. A penny for Judd Trump's thoughts.
Now, a chance to get the cue ball in behind the yellow. But looks like he's going for the pot. And what a pot it was. Brilliant pot. And he's on the yellow. What a cracking pot. Pink and black still unavailable. A little bit too much stun in the cue ball. He wanted to be straighter on this red. Probably still play that red, but now it's a lot tougher with the rest. Could play down for the blue.
3.
In case it goes in. Safe if it doesn't. That's a great pot. And played for the black, which goes to the left corner.
4.
Well, he's knocked in a couple of very good pots already in this break. A little cannon to the red nearest the pink spot. Black goes, just. Yep. Well played, and got the cannon to the red by the pink spot. And now he should be in business.
11. $12. $19.
You look at the bare scoreline here and see 8-4, and I don't think it really does Xiao justice. He's the world number 44, limited experience at top level, let alone at the Crucible. Yes, he's been in 2 ranking event finals, but this is by far the highest profile match he's played in the game's premier event. And although he's made a few mistakes here and there, like that positional shot, for instance, I think he's acquitting himself admirably.
Yeah, I do too, Phil. Hasn't played at the Crucible many times. And he's playing #1 in the world and world champion. And had he won that last frame, which he very much could have done, had he been on a red going into the pack. Sorry, had he been on the black, a little better. It could have been so much difference. It could have been 7-5, and with this one, 7-6.
27.
So I think the scoreline is a little flattering.
$28.
But he seems to have forgotten about that last frame.
Yes, you also have to take into consideration the fact that Selby won both frame 6 and frame 8 last night from well behind. In the 6th, actually, Xiao was in command, potted a red and unluckily went in off. In the 8th, he suffered a kick. A badly timed kick, and Selby came back to salvage that. Yes, Joe, you're right. The match is a lot closer than that
35.
scoreline would suggest.
Well, he's looking at if he can get through the gap of reds there when he pots the red to the left corner. But he could play it with a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball and try and go back up for the black again. A little hard. A little hard.
36. Thank you. Green ball.
Wait for it. He says sorry, but he's not out of the woods yet. In fact,
39.
it might have been better had it not gone in. Time will tell.
Xiao Guodong, 39.
Good pace on the cue ball. Can't take the pot on. Got to play the safety. Caught it too thick. And Mark Selby could be tempted by this red. A let off and a chance for Xiao Guodong. Maybe he thought about position more than the pot there.
Thank you.
Playing the cannon onto the red, which he got. But forgot about the red. This red is potable to the right corner.
So Selby's missed another couple of reds to that top right-hand pocket. I can't overstate to you just how many pots he's missed in that particular pocket this match. It's been extraordinary.
Nice kiss on the yellow. Hides the red over the corner. Caught it a little too thick, and a good kiss on the pink there. Otherwise the red would have been on.
A pace-killing kiss on the brown would have been nice there for Selby. Well, it's beyond dispute, Joe. This is the scrappiest frame of the session.
So far, yep. But it's a very important one. Xiao could win it, just 3 behind. And it's not beyond his capability to level things up. Great pot. Terrific pot by Selby. And has the angle on the brown to come down for that red above the black. Well, he couldn't have picked it up and placed it any better. And now got an angle to disturb the reds. And if this works out okay, every chance of winning the frame at this visit. They certainly need some attention, these two reds. And that has worked out very nicely.
He's such a clear thinker, isn't he?
12.
He's got the ability to plan and to execute.
Well, I thought he would have played for the red nearest the left corner there. Well, he had the good position on the pink. Chance to screw back for this red, and, well, he's not left himself straight enough on it. So, having to go down for one of the bark colours.
20.
Now, 2 side cushions to get to the red nearest the left corner. He doesn't want to get the cover. He's okay.
24.
The knees buckled when the white caught the left-hand side cushion, but he was okay, as you say, Joe. But not high
25.
enough on the pink.
No, that's a poor positional shot, you've got to say. That's given Xiao Guodong a little bit of a life. Got to play this difficult black with lots of screw on the cue ball. And played it too well. That's a difficult red from there now. A little shake of the head because an inch slower and it would have been a certainty. As it is, these are tough.
Smelly shot, isn't it? See, so many of these just marginally overcut. Oh, right into the heart of the pocket.
33.
Couldn't have played it any better. Well, again, he's underhit that. Made it a little bit more difficult than it should have been. He might be able to screw and check it in. Played it well.
39.
Selby's lead is 13 points, so green and brown needed to leave Xiao, requiring a snooker. And hard to
42.
imagine this brown going astray. Well, he had a terrible contact.
46.
Thank heavens the potting angle wasn't compromised.
$51.
In the last couple of frames, we have seen exactly why Mark Selby is such a very tough nut to crack. On the other table, just a second or so ago, Stephen Maguire potted the black to steal frame 14. What's more, Maguire now leads by 11 frames to 3.
14.
Another hammer
Mark
blow
Selby
for Rory McLeod, who made a 60 break in that frame and still didn't win it. As for here, talk about hammer blows. Mark Selby has inflicted 2 in succession, Joe Johnson.
Yeah, they're going to hurt Xiao Guodong, make no mistake. Should have won that frame, Xiao. He played really well, knocked in a terrific red with the rest, and then kept it going. Just didn't score enough. And now it's left Selby with a long red. And that's a let-off. That really is a let-off. Well, that's a good red from Xiao Guodong. Played it with some safety in mind. A good pot. Now, does he roll up behind the yellow? I'll take the brown on. Played the positive shot. And to say it's 9-4 down, that was a brave shot to take on.
5.
2 very good shots again to start this break off. Did the same in the last frame. Didn't score enough, though.
11. $18. 19.
Again, a very attacking shot. Could have just dropped the black in for the red above
26.
it. Played a very attacking shot. Had some action on the cue ball, which has left him on this red. Slow down. Well, he's on the pink, but he'd rather have been on the black. There is a red that will go to the right corner.
27.
If he screws back 4 or 5 inches. He's just looking at that red now. I think it will go. If not, then it's a big screw back for the 2 reds he's closest to. Does it go? If it goes, easy enough to play for it. Well, he was going to play the yellow there, but surely the pink. Well, I'm surprised he isn't playing the pink.
Xiao Guodong, 27.
Well, what do you think about that, Phil?
Well, it's not consistent with what he did a couple of frames ago when he played for the extra points on the black. True, maybe he thought there was no positional future with the pink and wanted to play a good safety. He's played a reasonable safety, but Selby, no great sweat in taking the cue ball back into bulk.
Yeah, but by the same token, I think he could have screwed the pink in and played the 2 reds that are closest together into that right corner pocket as a shot to nothing if he couldn't get right behind them. I just think that was a strange shot that he played. This red's close. Got a good safety there.
1.
Chance to play a good snooker in behind the green.
While we know that some flukes are better than others, that's 3 he's had this afternoon.
Xiao Guodong, 1. Foul. Yes. Xiao Guodong. Set.
Well, that will be going back. Trying to hit that red closest to the cushion and leave the cue ball in the jaws of the pocket down here. But misjudged it by a long way.
Yeah. Not on its spot the black, is it?
By the way, Brendan Moore isn't talking to himself. He's talking to his marker, who is providing guidance as to where the balls were before the original shot was played. The marker has got the visual evidence to be able to
This red, wasn't it?
point Brendan in the right direction. What a boon for the referees, Joe.
Yeah, and not before time. It was the time before when we'd no idea where they were exactly. And we'd to go by what the player said.
And the gentleman doing the pointing there, that was Olivier Martil. He's a good assistant to have. Stepped in yesterday, Joe, for an extra session because poor old Marcel Eckhart from Germany had tonsillitis. Had to call in sick.
Change of plan here. And a good change of plan. Well, can he see enough of this red? It is cuttable if he can see it. Don't think the red is cuttable to the right middle, but he could play safe off that. Get near to the pot. Something like that. Well, got a lot of action on the cue ball to take it out of the danger area. And that's not too bad at first glance. Red is on to the left corner, but the cue ball looks to be going into the black or red. He's looking at Got to avoid the red nearest that left corner. Got to avoid the pink and blue. Avoided the red and got in between the pink and blue. Well worked out. But left a red to this right corner pocket, but what a tough red. I don't think he's got any choice, but, well, maybe he could drop the cue ball in the jaws of this pocket. Doesn't have to take it on. But could leave the red to the left corner if he plays that shot. In a little bit of trouble. Forced into taking this red on. Needs some luck. And didn't really get it. This red is on to the left corner. Play the cue ball to the cushion just in case he misses it. It'd be on the blue. Right in the middle, and didn't bother playing the cue ball to the cushion.
What a super pot that was. Well, he's erased a sizable deficit in each of the last 2 frames. Why not make it a hat-trick?
5. Six. Twelve.
So he's got a couple of difficult reds over the left side of the table.
$19. $20. $26. $27. $33. $34.
The black to hit the front in the frame.
Now the hard
41.
work starts. Does he play to bring the red off this time round? I'll leave an angle on the black or pink to get to the two reds. Played to leave an angle on the black. Now, if he plays to hit the red nearest the middle, it'd stay on the other red, down the cushion. That's what he's played, but he's missed the red. Wanted to catch it full. So Xiao Guodong will be coming back to the table.
49.
It was the right concept, not quite the right execution. And hampered by the blue, any possible thoughts of an attempted pot on the penultimate red could never be entertained. That, Joe, was low percentage.
Well, it was, and he didn't really get hold of the cue ball. Tried to get the cue ball back into the balk area, and once you miss the red, you've no idea where it's going to finish. Hasn't finished good for Xiao Guodong.
One.
Well, I could have done with being closer to this red. Because it's so far away, it's a difficult pot.
Another frame over. On the other table, Stephen Maguire 12, Rory McLeod 3. One more frame to go today.
Struck that so well.
6.
That's a great shot, that. And got the angle on the black to go up to the yellow.
So the black and the yellow needed, and then Xiao will require a snooker. Just had to avoid the point, the bump of the middle pocket. Selby did that.
For a moment, I thought it was going to be snookered, but it's finished up with a nice angle. Made absolutely sure of the yellow there.
Starting to flow now is Mark Selby. The blue was purely academic, didn't matter.
And the frame.
The defending champion hits double figures. I know that Stephen Maguire is 12-3 up on Rory McLeod on one side of the auditorium. If he wins the frame that's in progress now, they don't need to come back tomorrow. He will win with a session to spare. As for the match that we've been focusing on this afternoon, Well, that's one-sided as well. Mark Selby leading Xiao Guodong 10-4. And I think, Joe Johnson, you have to say, to have any smidgen of hope, Xiao has to win the closing 2 frames this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not beyond him, that's for sure, because he has played very well in patches. The changing point for me was where he lost that frame when he went into the pack of reds, finished under the cushion on the black. And that was the turning point for me. He made a beautiful 131 clearance in frame 11. And he was on top at that stage. He had Mark Selby wobbling, but he needed to push forward, and he didn't win that next frame, which he should have done. And from there, it's been hard work. Mark Selby is like, well, he's been called Iron Man. I think he is.
Thank you. Frame 15. Xiao Guodong to break.
Certainly got an iron will. So Xiao breaking off, and he's left this red to the right corner again. Not enough side on the cue ball. You would think that leaving this red on, he would stick more side on the cue ball so he doesn't leave it on. But he's missed it each time, Mark Selby, and missed it thin again.
It was the same last night.
Well, that's what he needs. He needs to be let off by Selby, which he did. And then he needs to score.
I don't think I've ever seen a more closely contested 10-4 match. Xiao has lost 5 frames. 2 yesterday, 3 today, from well in front.
Could be a plant just above the black. Has the angle to go into them or play for that loose red. Yeah, he's having a look at these 2 reds to see if they're a plant. Well, he thinks they're a plant, but I think he can get to the other red.
70.
And that releases those 2 reds to the left corner. Oh, playing the plant. And powered through. But this is a big shot for him now. If he can see the black, it's a massive shot. Otherwise, he's going to have to take the blue on. If he'd have screwed the cue ball back, it'd have been guaranteed to be on the black. Having the cue ball clean because he doesn't want to kick at this stage. Yeah, it looks like he can see enough of it. But a tough pot. That was tough, and he's left the red on.
Can you be quiet with the sweet wrappers up there, please?
Brendan Moore asking a member of the audience to stop rattling sweet papers, reminiscent of Len Ganley. That was always his rallying cry. Stop rattling those sweetie papers, he used to say, at venues around the world.
One. Six.
Well, he wasn't sure what was going to happen, but he'll be delighted at the outcome.
And unusually
40.
for this match, Selby's got a good early chance in a frame.
50.
He's made 8 half-centuries so far in the contest, but the majority of them have come quite late in frames, pinching them.
21. Thanks. 22.
Not quite hard enough for the black again, but easy enough to play for the pink or blue.
$30. $36. $37.
Finished a little too straight on this pink. Wanted a little bit more of an angle. So screwing back for that red down the right side of the table, and not quite far enough, so he's going to need the rest. Another 3 inches, he wouldn't have needed the rest.
He has it into his bogey pocket in this match. No problem. Getting on top now, massively
44.
on top.
Yes, it's one of the few frames that Selby has got in first.
51.
Now then,
Mark Selby,
can
51.
Xiao Guodong do what Mark Selby's been doing to him? Can he steal this? this red. He thinks it's cuttable. He's right behind it. Yeah, good pot. Needs that cue ball to land somewhere nice. And that's not too bad. I think the red by the middle pocket will go in there. He's just checking. This would be a good steal for Xiao Guodong.
Seven. Eight.
The way things were going there, the way Selby was playing, the missed red across the top cushion, to me, came as a really big surprise.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't think he'd left the red on, but Xiao Guodong cut it in. It's going to come down to that red along the cushion.
13.
Well, he could have done with a little bit more pace, but deep screw, deep soft screw to try and hold for the red. And that's good. So here comes the key shot.
21.
Has to leave a nice angle on the black. And that's not a good angle on the black. Too straight. So I'm going to need a lot of right-hand side on the cue ball. Oh, he played that well. Lots of right-hand side on the cue ball. Reverse side, it's called. And he couldn't have played it any better. Needs the pink.
31.
Nice angle on the brown. Come down for the blue. Just needs to stay the right side of the blue. Nothing for being straight on it this time round. Oh, really, he's come straight on the blue. That's going to make the pink a little bit more difficult. Has he got an angle? No.
43.
Should potted, but now there's just a grain of doubt. Pressure ball coming up. Well done indeed.
49.
Xiao has administered a taste of Selby's own medicine. Never yet. 7/8 done. One more frame to go. Mark Selby sitting there thinking, well, OK, I'm 10-5 ahead. I shouldn't really be annoyed, but deep down, he knows, for all intents and purposes, it should be 11-4. He put together a 51 break early in frame 15. Missed a red across the top cushion that no one saw coming.
Thank you. The final frame of this session. Mark Selby to break.
Xiao produced a 49 clearance to pink to steal frame 15. And that's why he retains a certain amount of hope, especially if he could win this one as well. You never know. It remains, by the way, 12-3 on the other table.
Judged to perfection. Good shots those when you've got to go around the 4 cushions and land up dead on that baulk cushion. Oh, he doesn't want to skim off them. No, years of practice.
I don't want to start talking in a defeatist manner about this match for Xiao, but if he does lose, I think he will gain an awful lot of positives from it.
Well, that's not the best safety shot. The cue ball well short of the baulk area, but he's dropped a little fortunate there. The cue ball falling in front of the brown. He could ask for a re-rack.
Even before the advent and the popularity of snooker in the People's Republic, this kind of shot was known as a Chinese snooker. I don't know why. What I do know is that shot is extremely awkward.
Yes, well, I do know why. It's because the Chinese writing is upside down, so you read from bottom to top. So that's why they call it the Chinese.
And so it's an inverse snooker, opposite to a conventional one. Yeah, I see that, yeah. Impressed, Joe?
This could be good. Not quite the snooker. The black is on, but he's refusing the red, I think. Well, I'm surprised at that. Although badly wants to win this frame. 11-5 lead, 10-6, and he knows that Xiao Guodong is a dangerous opponent. Well, didn't play it in behind the brown, but he'll take it. Players play the cue ball to the ball cushion, not in behind the colours, because had it just come a little further, could have had a red onto the left corner. So just trying to land up to those two reds below the pink spot. But if he catches the top one, he'll leave the red onto the middle. Caught the right red, the correct red. It's a very good safety. No way back down the table from the right side, and can't see one from the left side. Well, very unfortunate to have made contact with the blue.
Yes, that was the last line of defence in many respects.
One.
Played for the plant. I thought there was a red in the middle of the cluster that might go to the right corner. But nothing wrong with this if it goes in. Nicely done.
$14. 50. $21.
Well, pink is available to that right middle.
$22.
Played for it to the corner though. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course, Joe, if he wins this frame, Xiao, it will mean he's shared this session. And against Mark Selby at the Crucible, that is no mean feat.
28. 29.
No, he hasn't been he hasn't been fortunate there. He's been very unfortunate. He powered that pink in. Look at the topspin on the cue ball. But I don't think he's on one. Easy enough to play the safety, but could so easily have won the frame there.
Xiao Guodong, 35.
Caught that much too thick. He needs some luck. And he got some.
You have to say he's had 3 flukes outright. He's had a number of fluke snookers as well, and one more added to the list. Good hit, but Xiao will retain the tactical initiative. See what I mean? The noise emanating from the other side of the arena is because Stephen Maguire, in unscheduled fashion, has defeated Rory McLeod by 13 frames to 3. He's won the 16th frame on the black, and so they do not need to come back tomorrow. Stephen Maguire into the quarterfinals, and he awaits either Barry Hawkins or Graham Dott. The giant killer from round 1 has been well and truly beaten.
Well, a strange way to come out of the snooker. I thought he was going to land up to the 2 reds nearest the cushion. But he's left this red to the middle. Not a gimme by any means. Nicely done, and that held true.
Hasn't he stuck with this well? Okay, as we've said, he's had a little bit of a run, I think, this afternoon, in fairness. Some important flukes and some timely fluked snookers. But he stuck with it to his great credit.
Yes, he hasn't give up, has he? And some of the things that's gone against him, he could have dropped his head, but he's kept it. But he's not over the line yet in this frame. Can play for the red by the black spot, or indeed the one below the pink. It's got the angle to play for both. No, he hasn't got into it. He hasn't got into it. And that's a poor positional shot.
50.
Not safe yet. 50 points the lead. He's just got to skim off these reds, I think. Didn't really get enough screw in the cue ball. He played for the red by the black spot. What did I do there, it says. So he's just got to skim off these thin because he doesn't want to hit them too thick and send the red towards that right corner. So I've got to be thin here. Well, that's what he didn't want to do. It had to go really thin, and now he needs some luck.
Xiao Guodong. 50.
I think he's got it, but very fortunate.
Yes, we've seen throughout this match Selby's predatory instincts.
Wow, can he see it? He's right behind the shot. And even he doesn't know, he's having to look from both sides. So I wouldn't like to guess.
And a fraction of an inch can make a massive difference here.
He swerved it. I saw the cue ball turn. The slightest swerve. And Xiao Guodong is fortunate he hasn't got the right side of the pink.
Yes, playing it with that side meant that the cue ball was killed coming off the top cushion. It was check side, but he had to impart that in order to obtain the potting angle in the first place. So it was a trade-off, really.
Yep, and a little harder. It'd have been straight on the pink, easy to get to the reds. He's got to come between the brown and green now. And he's missed it. So another chance for Xiao Guodong. That's a real let-off from that poor safety from Xiao.
One.
He's okay, just nicely on the brown. If he could take a red and a big colour off this red over the pocket, Selby would need snookers.
You don't associate Sunday afternoons with education, but I think Xiao has learnt an awful lot, and his snooker education will benefit greatly from being involved in this match, and he's got every reason to be proud of himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Could have given in. It's not safe yet, though. That, again, was a terrible positional shot. That's turned out good. He needs to look at the scoreboard. And then he wants to thank his lucky stars about the kiss.
Yes, because the pinky nudged on and ultimately in was frame ball.
Barring snookers. And Mark Selby's one of the best in the world at getting them, if not the best.
Yes, when Selby's playing, the barring snookers disclaimer is very appropriate.
12.
Well, Xiao's going to be having a go at this red. Not the best safety shot from Mark Selby. If the red goes in, there'll be no doubt then. No, he's got to go for it. He's shaking his head, but he's got to go for it. The cue ball's not going into the other reds. Well, maybe he sees it, that it is going into the reds. I don't even think he went for the pot there. I think he played it thin and the safety. Sometimes he plays some shots that I'm not sure about. And that's a let-off. Now, doesn't want to touch the two reds, doesn't want to touch the red on the right side cushion. That only leaves the other one. And he's playing the two reds. Again, don't get it. I just do not get it. That's a terrible shot. He's developed three reds there in one shot.
Yes, because we always say Selby needs one snooker, but also he needs a big clearance.
Doesn't have to take the black this time round. He's checking the scoreboard. He can play a pink and then go down for the easier black. But I just cannot believe the last shot, two shots that Xiao's played.
Now, if Selby didn't need a snooker here, his big concern would be developing the red on the right-hand side cushion. But he'll get that far and then lay the snooker off that.
Yep, doesn't need to bring that red off the cushion.
8.
And the last thing he should have done was touch those two reds. Play safe off the red off the black cushion. That was by itself. Is he going to get the cover? Is he going to get the cover? That's Xiao's only hope.
15.
He's got the cover. So attempt to pot the red off the cushion.
Mark Selby, 15.
End of frame, end of session. Good afternoon for Xiao Guodong. He made his first ever century at the Crucible Theatre. He shared the 8 frames with Mark Selby, but the title holder still in command.